So today I'm going to share makeup tips and tricks and some techniques that make for the perfect makeup application. This is perfect for beginners, or if you're not a beginner and you just want to try out a new technique. Some of these are honestly ones I wish I knew sooner. Some of these I've been doing for years and it's kind of just been my thing. Some of these are new from TikTok that I've learned. I definitely feel like the technique in which I do my makeup is a little different, and I like to try out new ones, of course. So this is totally beginner friendly. I'm also going to be using some Nova Beauty products to create the look, and this video is in partnership with Nova Beauty. So a major thank you to them for working with me on this video. And we're gonna get straight into it. You guys know I'm really big on skin prep. So what I like to do prior to makeup is so crucial to what my makeup is going to look like throughout the way and at the very end of my makeup application. It does not matter if you have oily skin or dry skin. Hydrating the skin is going to make the biggest difference. Seriously, the way your makeup looks throughout the day, the way it lies on the skin, like you want to make sure you are prepping prior. I did already go in with a moisturizer. Now I'm going to go in with some primer, and I'm just going to use a gel-based primer, and I just like to tap it on into my skin right over here. And I don't really rub too much. I like to pat. Just going to make sure that it's sinking into the skin, which is what we want. So what I've recently been doing before I get into anything makeup related is take an eyelash curler, and I like to curl up my lashes because I feel like it gives a little bit more of a lift when we're getting into lashes. It doesn't matter if we're using falsies, if we're just doing mascara. I really like to have like that curled look throughout the entire process, just so then when I get to that step, if I have to curl them again, they're like extra curled. That is a little trick that I've been doing and I love it. And I also like to take my finger and kind of raise up my eyelid, pop it on there, and that will ensure that you're curling the entire lash from the root. You're not getting the middle of your lash, you're getting from the root. So I'm not sure which creator posted about that, but I did see this on TikTok. So I'm just taking the Nova Beauty eyelash curler, lifting up my lid so I can ensure to get every single hair from the root, and lightly press down about 3 times. If you have not tried Nova Beauty yet, of course you're gonna see it throughout this video, but they are so inexpensive and such great quality. Even this eyelash curler, like I love the quality of it. So good. So if you have not tried it out yet, of course I'm gonna leave them linked for you in the description box. I've been using Nova Beauty for a while and I absolutely adore their products. So now that our skin is prepped with the primer, I do like to go in and bring a little bit more of a glow back to the skin right before my foundation. So what I love to do is use a liquid illuminator prior to any foundation, so then when I apply my foundation, it kind of peeks through and gives that really pretty glowy look, but it's super natural. It's not harsh, it's not too in your face glowy, it's just the most perfect amount. So I'm gonna take a little bit of moisturizer, I'm gonna put that on the back of my hand, and then I'm gonna mix in a liquid highlighter in with this, and you can do this step in your foundation as well, but I think mixing it in with the moisturizer just gives like a sheared out version, and it gives the skin such a pretty look. I'm gonna go ahead and take the Nova Beauty liquid highlighter. This one's in the shade Soft Gold. I'm actually gonna go in with the shade Bronze instead and mix that in, and I'll just mix it together. This just gives such a beautiful illuminating look. This reminds me of so many illuminating products that I like to use. Essentially is the same exact thing. So I do like to do this from time to time where I'll just apply a little bit to the skin and blend it in with my fingers. You can add as much moisturizer as you would like for this. You can have it more of like a hydrated look with like a little hint of a glow. You can of course add this into any foundation to give a little bit more of a glowy appearance to the foundation, whether it's a matte foundation or whatever it is, just to give a little bit of extra glow. And this also gives a little bit of like a bronze tone as well, depending on what shade highlighter you're using. So like I said, I went in with the shade Bronze, and that just gave a little bit more of a bronzier glow. So beautiful, and I think like all the hype right now as well. If you can make it yourself and use these products multi-use, why not? I'm going with foundation now, and I'm also going to be applying it with a brush. It's perfect because it's not overdoing it, and you're really just getting the perfect amount of coverage. So I just like to apply like so, and then I'll go in and blend it out with a sponge. I think it's super easy to like carve around the brows and just like detailed areas, depending on if you do your brows first, which I do recommend, and cuts down the time, and it's just super easy to like initially lay the product down and then blend it out. I'm gonna go with the Nova Beauty sponge, which is a great sponge. I do like to dampen this, and then it does expand a little bit. What I like to do is spray my skin right before I blend out foundation, just because I feel like it locks everything in place, but still has that blendability. And throughout the day, I just notice my makeup looking so much better when I spray in between steps. So I'm just gonna give it a quick spritz. And then I'll go right in with the beauty sponge, and I'm just going to bounce and blend right on top of it. I like to do little circular motions, never ever ever rub and like drag down. That's just defeating the entire purpose of like blending the product. And I love this sponge from Nova Beauty because it's so soft. It doesn't have like that hard feeling. It becomes the softest sponge. Like the sponge is supposed to become soft, but some don't. And you do want to make sure that you are dampening it enough when you're putting it under the water and like rinsing it out enough. If you just get it wet for 2 seconds, that does absolutely nothing to the sponge. So you want to really make sure that it's getting saturated, wring it out, and it has the most perfect point right there as well, and like beveled edge at the bottom. I love it. So I'm just gonna keep on blending this all together. You'll see I like to blend a little bit into here. And always, always, always bring it down to your neck, especially if you are self-tanning like I do, or you have a tan there and you're not matching your neck and your face is lighter. You want to make sure that you're bringing the product down to the neck. So everything is seamless. We don't have any lines. And I always bring it to the ears as well. I feel like some people think that's a little strange, but your ears are connected. Like you don't want to have different color ear versus your skin. Everything's connected. I just bring a light layer, like whatever's left, I'll just kind of go like that onto the ear. I also like to get a little bit whatever's left on the sponge right onto my eyelid and just like tap right over it. You can totally see the liquid highlighter and moisturizer that we used before, just kind of peeking through the foundation. It's so pretty. For concealer, I find a hydrating concealer is the way to go. You don't always have to use a hydrating concealer, depends on what look you're going for. If you need more coverage, then use more of a full coverage one, but I'm gonna be using just a hydrating concealer right here. And I like to look down just to really see what I need to conceal, because honestly, less is more. And I feel like we don't need to use an overabundant amount of concealer to hide up what we're trying to hide up. So just remember, less is more. So I'm just gonna apply it right in the area when I look down that becomes a little bit more dark and sunken in, and that's where I'm really gonna apply it. For me personally, I have darkness right here, so don't forget the inner area. Then I like to bring the concealer upwards like so. This is really gonna lift the face. So bring a little concealer right here, and all of this motion is just going to lift the face. So I'm gonna blend it out with a brush and a sponge, and then right here. And then I go in with a different concealer just to bring it down the bridge of my nose. I'm gonna go in with a little bit more of a full coverage concealer, which is in a pot. And I'm gonna go in with the Nova Beauty brush. This is the Complexion 1 brush. And I'm gonna apply it to any blemishes that I have on the skin. And I'm just gonna do a light tap on each one because you get a lot of coverage right away and you don't wanna overdo it with it, but I definitely need to have those covered. So I'm just gonna do patting motions, and that is going to work its magic. And start blending out the concealer. I like to look down, and honestly I look in like a bunch of different directions when I do this, just because I want to make sure the whole area that I am concealing is not getting any creases. And essentially I'm just keeping the product exactly where I placed it, and I'm just kind of doing these patting motions, same angle. So we're just angling everything up. Of course, this is like the techniques that I do in majority of my videos, but I feel like I never sit here and explain. Just kind of wanted to just share like the little tips and tricks that I've been doing lately. And of course, I learned along the way as well from makeup artists and, like I said, TikTok. Definitely just wanted to share what I've recently been doing, but I'm just gonna keep on blending and just keeping it in place. So when I blend, I literally just tap over, and that's gonna keep the coverage and the product exactly where we placed it. You can see exactly like that lift that the concealer gave. That's with no bronzer, no blush, like that's just the concealer, and it still gives a pretty instant lift, which is nice because you really don't need a ton of product right here. It depends on what you need to cover, of course, so keeping that into consideration, but you really don't need a ton of product right here if you don't need to conceal anything up. I think it kind of just defeats the purpose and can just look a lot more cakier and thicker, and we don't need all of that. At least I don't want all of that, so let me rephrase that. I don't want all of that. And then for the bridge of the nose, I just keep it right into that area and literally press down on it. So right now we are on the trend of pink under eyes and pink setting powders, and I was always one to be like, not for me. Don't knock it till you try it. If you haven't tried it yet, go pick up a baby pink concealer and a baby pink setting powder because you're about to be mind blown. I'm gonna apply a little bit of a baby pink concealer right into here actually, and that's it. This is gonna help any darkness and just bring brightness back into the skin and right into the center of the face. It is literally game changing. I love it. I only keep it there. So the tiniest dab will do you. Gonna go in with this little beauty sponge, which is also from Nova Beauty. Such a cute little sponge and does the job. Keeping the focus of the product exactly where I placed it. I don't wanna do too much of a heavy hand, so I'm just going to lightly tap over it and keeping it right into that inner corner. Also, this is kind of backwards, and I do my brows first always, no matter what look I'm doing, but I forgot to share with you because I did them off camera already. But going with the Nova Beauty brow pencil, which is a gorgeous brow pencil. It's nice and thin, has a spoolie, and it's just really great. So extending the tail of your brow outwards as opposed to dragging it down is going to lift the face. So I always make sure to apply my products in a lifting motion. What I mean by that is the tail of the brow generally would grow downwards. I like to kind of push up those hairs, and I probably need to pluck it again right over here, but I like to brush them up and extend with the pencil out, but like up. Instead of down, we're gonna go upwards. Never go past like the end of my eye, that angle. That is just something I've been doing for a while now, and I definitely feel like it does lift the face and keeps the eyes and everything uplifted, which is gorgeous. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of bronzer. It's a cream bronzer, so what I like to do is tap the sponge right in there so you have enough of product, and then kind of stamp right here. Definitely looks a little bit high, but I do like to lift the face, like I said, so we're always applying the products a little bit higher. You can do it right here by the end of your ear, and that would be a perfect spot for your contour, but I do like to have it a little teensy bit higher and more of an angle this way, and then I always bring the product and blend it in an upwards motion. I never bring down. Wherever it ends is where it's going to stay. We want to make sure we blend up. I've shown this like in all of my tutorials, but I needed to share again because we don't want to drag any products below here. We can of course clean it up later on with powder, but just keeping it in this general area already gives such an instant lift and a beautiful bronze to the skin. And then taking the other end that has no product and just dabbing over it right here just to diffuse that in because I don't want to have too much product there. Then I just like to go in and draw on right here for my nose contour, a little down here, tap, 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 and get it for my forehead. This is where I like to bring it into my hairline as well because I don't like to have a line right here. I like to make sure everything is blended in so it does look like it's a bronzy glow that's natural. Of course, we all know that it's makeup, but I don't want to have any type of like separation line. So I love to blend it into the hairline and essentially bring it back down onto the temples. Then just tapping away the jaw right here, and I'm just gonna push up like that. I am keeping some product on the skin right here because then you're just drawing a line down here. A little bit of the product is still on the chin and like side of the face. So we have that illusion. So I'm gonna go with the Nova Beauty eye brush. This is the i3 brush. And I'm just gonna lightly blend out the nose contour. Everyone's nose is different, of course, and so that means contouring could be a little bit different for each person. Same thing goes for the face as well. It also depends on how you like it to look. So what I like to do to blend out this line is start right here. I go down to the barrel of the brush just to have less like pressure on the brush, and I start and I just keep on blending, but I'm going in an inwards motion. So I'm kind of going into like an inner triangle, if that makes sense, closer together towards the tip of the nose. That's so we can have a slimmer appearance of the nose. If you kind of just bring it down in a line or even draw the lines any further apart than I have them now, we're making the nose look bigger. So I want to make sure that I am bringing this product inwards like so. Everyone's nose is different and everyone likes to contour a little different. For me personally, I like to do it this way and then meet it up into the tip of the nose. When it comes to up here, I diffuse it up underneath the brow. And the more you blend, obviously right here, the less harsh that's gonna look. Just keeping the product right here and keeping less pressure on the brush. Just keep on blending. I like to do a little tap right here sometimes too. And what I find that's never really worked for me is like blending right here. Love how I just did that. But that's never really worked for me, so I'm not going to do that. And sometimes I like to go back in with more concealer down the bridge of my nose. Sometimes I'll do like a little tap like this. For blush, I'm gonna take a little bit of cream blush and I'm gonna apply it on the back of my hand as well. Honestly, everything I go to use, I really use this as a palette. It's a little messy, but it's super easy. If I'm not gonna apply it straight from the applicator, I do like to do this. I'm gonna tap it on with my finger after blending it. Apply it right from the temple area and bring like 3 dots downwards like so. And this is like in an uplifted motion. This is going to lift the face. Such a perfect way to apply blush. I'm going to take the other end of the beauty sponge from Nova Beauty and just blend right here, keeping the product where we placed it, and then blend it up right into the temple. This is literally the most epic and I think game-changing technique that I've done. When I first learned about this, like iconic. I think it just makes my face look 10 times more youthful, it's more like a snatch, everything's lifted. The way just blush in itself can change the face shape, the way that it has like that illusion is just so amazing. I love it. Really taking it from the temple and bringing it right in here. So beautiful. It is kind of overlapping the bronzer just a little bit, but I think mixing both of them together too just gives such a beautiful look. You can always go back into whatever brush you used your foundation. So in this case, I just applied it with this. You can always go right underneath and carve that area out. Setting powder, I'm gonna go in with a light pink setting powder, like I said before. Such a beautiful look you get with that. Making sure that you spritz your face prior to any powder is gonna really make sure that it sticks and gives that airbrush look. It just re-adheres, rehydrates the skin, and just looks so pretty. I really spray it on there. Like I'll do it twice sometimes. Taking the Nova Beauty Complexion brush, this is the Complexion 2 brush. A beautiful brush to set powder, honestly. Such a great brush, perfect amount of bristles, and it's really flexible, but packs on the product enough. Like it's pretty dense, still has like movement to it. So taking a little bit of powder right on here, so you get about that much. And what I like to do is tap it on the back of my hand just to get any excess on there, because we will go back in and use this after for more powder. You don't want to initially go in with so much powder, so I like to just do this first. I look down and start by applying it in the inner corner right here. Make my way over this way. Now you can apply powder with a sponge, and I do that often. I also like to use a powder puff, but today I want to use this brush because it does give a little bit of a lighter amount and it's so much more controlled. So I'm just gonna keep on blending. And if you can see my like hand placement, I go a little bit lower on the brush handle, and I like to do these stamping motions. I never do this, and I'm never like sweeping. It's okay if you do that, but I feel like to initially get the product on there, you wanna make sure that you're pressing into the skin in this upwards motion, like I've been doing for every single step of my makeup so far. It's just so crucial to me to have that. It looks stunning. I feel like I initially get the product in the corner and then lightly diffuse outwards. I'm gonna just go back in and get the rest, bring it down to the sides a little bit. I take a little bit more and lightly like buff product right here in an upwards motion, and that's gonna really lift the face a little bit more. Taking the excess and just kind of stamping on like smile lines. Anything like remaining is what I like to like kind of go over. Forehead, but just a little bit. I love to have a little bit of shine on my forehead. I know that sounds crazy, but I still like to have that luminosity kind of peeking through. So I'll just cover up the areas that we don't want to confuse for oil, but I'm just like lightly tapping over these areas. And then I'll go back in with this sponge now with a little bit more product and just pat right on top of it. This is gonna help lock everything in place, and then just bringing it up. It's gonna help diffuse any of that away. Powder like this is gonna help you brighten, but it's also gonna help you be set for all day. Like your makeup's not going anywhere. It looks so porcelain airbrush, but yet still has that natural luminous look to the skin, but it's really gonna help it stay in place all day. When it comes to right over here, I like to go with a different powder. It's not pink. I'm gonna take the corner of the sponge like so and carve that out a little bit. And I just kind of follow it right here. Nova Beauty brush. This is the Complexion 3 brush, and I'm just going to lightly dust that away. And it just does the job. A nude eyeliner in your inner waterline is gonna help brighten the eyes, whiter, and just like overall amazing. And I like to drag it into my inner waterline. So for underneath here, you can leave it as is and it still looks super bright. But today I kind of want to add a little bit of brown to it. You can go in and use a brown eyeshadow to kind of smoke it out, or you can go in with a brown eyeliner, and that's what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to go with the Nova Beauty FYI Gel Eyeliner. A really, really pretty brown, sparkly, almost like eyeliner. Super pretty and super creamy. Apply it right underneath that white eyeliner, but more onto my like lash line. This is just going to add a little something to under here and kind of make the nude eyeliner pop a little bit. So keeping it directly under it. And then almost instantly, I go in and blend it out with a defined brush, more of an angle. And this is the Nova Beauty Eye Brush. I'm just gonna kind of smoke that away. You can see the difference between the two. This one has no eyeliner underneath the nude. This one kind of just makes that pop a little bit more. It makes the eye look a little bit bigger. I do have smaller eyes, so I feel like it works perfect, and it gives a little bit of something. This will also make your bottom lashes look a little bit fuller too if you apply mascara. Then I'm gonna go in with the Nova Beauty eyeliner in the shade DM, which is a really pretty like pinky nude, kind of like off-white sparkle. So pretty, has a beautiful shimmer. I'm not gonna use it as an eyeliner today. I'm gonna use it on the bridge of my nose and bring it down like a highlight. It's just the most prettiest. It's not really pink, it's more of like an opal shade. Also bring it right underneath my eyebrow. This is gonna help lift the brow. All about lifting, if you can tell. It's the tiniest amount, but it does the trick. Like less is more, and it just is beautiful. And then blending it out with my finger like so, and it just gives the tiniest amount. It's there, but it's very subtle. Tip of the nose. This is really not pink, which is nice. Got eyelash curler one more time, and I'm just going to lightly press down about 3 times. Put mascara on prior to any falsies if I'm gonna add them. Today I'm gonna go in with the Nova Beauty lashes. I adore their lashes so much, you guys. Like, they're so inexpensive, but the quality is like, I'm just gonna go in and apply some mascara to my natural lashes. I like to get from the root and wiggle my way up. If you want your lashes to look a little bit longer, you wanna make sure you get from the root. Just getting it from the root and bringing it up. Like I said, I'm applying lashes today, and I'm gonna do half lash most likely, so I do wanna make sure that a lot of the product is gonna get diffused right here. So when we go in with the half lash right on the end, my natural lashes blend in with it like effortlessly, and it all looks like one. Sometimes I do a little blink on it as well, just to get the product really on there from the root. If we get any mascara along your eyes, because I know it happens to everyone, completely let it dry. I'm sure you heard this for years, whether it looks like it messed up the look or not. And then go in with either a Q-tip or a brush that has no product on it and lightly brush back and forth, and the mascara is invisible. It's gone. I used to get so mad at myself when I would get it everywhere, but then I'm like, all right, it's gonna come off. It's gonna just like literally flake off your skin, so relax. You just gotta let it dry and have patience. I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of mascara to my lower. So what I like to do for that, I kind of squint my eyes, which is not the best. What I like to do is kind of look down and get right here in this like motion of going like this. And I just kind of get from the root like so. Just gives more of like a wispy little amount of mascara. Taking a clean brush, like I said, there's no product on it. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe that away. And look at that, mascara, where? We don't know her. I'm gonna go in with the Nova Beauty Faux Luxe lashes in the style 80. These are such nice lashes. Like, look at the quality. I do like to cut them either in a half lash or a little bit less than a half lash or a little bit more, depending on my mood, you know? Half lash on the end in an upwards motion right over here. It's gonna give that lifted look. That is currently the theme of this video. I should just name it lifted look. To get that look, you do wanna cut them up. You don't wanna pop on this whole lash. So I just went ahead and trimmed the lash to the outer corner like I said. Apply some glue. I just apply a tiny dab. I like to apply this to the outer area of my eye. Just kind of look down a little. I'm gonna go in with a brown eyeliner to tight line the upper waterline of my eye. This one is by Nova Beauty and this is the shade On My Way. Such a nice gel eyeliner, has beautiful pigments. So what I'm gonna do is bring it onto my inner area of my eye. So up in there, if you've never done it before, it's gonna be a little weird. You gotta get used to it. But I'm telling you, it makes such a difference in the makeup because right now I feel like I see a little separation and just like you can kind of see where the lashes are at and I don't want that. So I like to warm up the product first. You get such amazing pigment with this one, but I'll just kind of lift up my eye and apply it straight onto that inner lid. Sometimes I'll just pop it in there and kind of drag back and forth. And that's really ensuring it to get onto the upper lid. This is gonna help blend the lashes together. It's also gonna help make the lashes and lash line look a little bit thicker and overall just look so much more put together. I do like to do this with a darker brown as opposed to a black one because I feel like it makes my eye color pop a little bit as well. Cool tone pink blush. I'm gonna take the Nova Beauty brush in the Complexion 4 style for my blush brush. And then I'm gonna start stamping right here and diffusing it up into where we had our powder, so like right over here. This is gonna help set our other products down, but it's also gonna give a little bit more color. And I like to bring it into like the under eye area a little bit. I think mixing both of them together just gives a really pretty like diffused airbrush look. Lifting up the face, lifting motion. I'm gonna spritz my face again. Bit of a highlighter onto my cheekbones on this Nova Beauty brush and just lightly sweep it right here. I spritz the face first just so everything adheres perfectly. Really easy to blend the product on the skin without pulling and tugging. So I apply it over here above the brow and bring it right into the inner area of my eye. This is just like a light champagne tone and that's really just going to help brighten the eyes once again and keep everything looking fresh, wide awake, and put together. And then I just drag a little bit right here. A little bit of bronzer with this bigger Nova Beauty complexion brush. I'm not being precise at all. I like to just kind of stipple and blot on these areas that I think need a little bit more of a bronze, but I'm not really being precise. I'm gonna do a nude lip and that's completely a shock, I know. But that is my favorite and I think nude lip you just cannot go wrong with. I always like to make it a little bit darker on my lip liner and then go a little bit lighter in the center. When you do a deeper lip liner and then a lighter lipstick, it does give that dimension and gives the illusion of a bigger lip. So I'm gonna take the Nova Beauty lip liner in the shade Brown 1. It's one of my favorite lip liners. The blendability of this is intense, like it's insane. You need to go pick these up if you haven't already. I've been using these lip liners for forever now and I'm obsessed with them. I think I'm gonna do the same exact lip look that I always do, but that's because I know these Nova Beauty products like never fail me and they're amazing. Also has a little brush on the end, so it's super easy to blend on the lips. And if you're a beginner with makeup, that is perfect for you. And honestly, like I feel like all lip liners should have that. That feature is just great. What I like to do is take my pinky and either rest it on my chin or in midair. And then when I get to the middle, I'll rest it on my chin. But it just gives more of like a sturdy, easier way to apply it. So I just like to take the lip liner, I overline right over here, just a tad, like the slightest amount, while keeping everything else my natural and down here. Then I'll take the brush and blend right to the center. When I tell you this is like unmatched, like it's so easy. Oh my goodness. I love it. And I just lightly blend. Nothing looks harsh, which is amazing. This is my holy grail favorite lip color from Nova Beauty, the shade Tone, which is a beautiful matte lipstick. This doesn't get better than that. Like this is just an amazing lipstick. The creaminess, the blendability, the way it looks on the lips and the pigment. Need I say more? I'm going to apply it right to the center, blot down. This is actually going to give a little bit of an illusion of a bigger lip. The dimension is gorgeous when you keep it right into the center and have everything else a little bit darker. It's still like monochrome and everything just blends so seamless, but keeping it towards the center, it really just does it. It's a little like 90s, How beautiful. Dabbing the product in the middle is just gonna give it like more of a, I don't want to say powdery look, but it's gonna give it more of like a softened look. Then I take that same beauty sponge from Nova Beauty. I'm gonna take a dewy spray and I'm just gonna spray it right there. Just so we're not spraying the entire face, I'm gonna be able to put it on designated areas that I want it to go, to blot it off on my hand, and then go in and stamp right on top of it. It just gives the extra glow that I want on those areas instead of putting it on the entire face. So here, down my nose, and like that. Those are all of my little tips and tricks and techniques that I want to share with you guys today. Make sure to go check out Nova Beauty. I'll leave everything for you listed and linked down below in the description. I highly recommend their products. Seriously, such great quality for an amazing price. Let me know if you guys do any of these similar techniques or tricks, or how you guys go about it. What is one of your favorite tricks? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear. Honestly, like, these little tips and tricks are not really like out of the ordinary tips and tricks, but these are just things that I like to do to my routine and the way I've been doing it lately. So I think it makes such a difference. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.